Hello and welcome to Director's Choice. Today we're going to be discussing the psychology of the Hulk's character, as portrayed in movies. The Hulk is a complex character with a rich history, and his struggles with anger, trauma, and identity have been explored in numerous films over the years. From his early appearances in the 2003 film Hulk to his more recent appearances in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Hulk's character serves as a representation of many different psychological themes. One of the most prominent aspects of the Hulk's character is his struggle with anger. In the 2003 film Hulk, Bruce Banner's character is portrayed as struggling to control his anger, and often transforms into the Hulk when triggered by intense emotions. This can be seen as a manifestation of repressed anger or trauma that erupts when triggered, reflecting the human struggle to control one's emotions and impulses, particularly those associated with negative feelings such as anger and fear. The Hulk's character can also be seen as a representation of the Jekyll and Hyde persona, where the scientist Bruce Banner represents the logical and rational side, while the Hulk represents the irrational and emotional side. This duality is a common theme in psychology, where individuals have multiple personas or conflicting aspects of their personality. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe films, the Hulk's character is portrayed as having a Jekyll and Hyde persona, with Bruce Banner representing the rational side and the Hulk representing the emotional side. Another theme that is prominent in the Hulk's character is his struggle for acceptance. In the 2012 film The Avengers, the Hulk's character is ostracized by society and struggles to find acceptance due to his monstrous appearance. This can be interpreted as a struggle for acceptance, which is common in psychology, where individuals who feel rejected or isolated can struggle with low self-esteem, anxiety, and depression. The Hulk's struggle for acceptance can be seen as a reflection of the human need for belonging and social connection. The Hulk's character also struggles with a desire for control. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe films, Bruce Banner struggles to control his transformations into the Hulk and often works to find a cure for his condition in order to regain control of his life. This can be interpreted as a desire for control, which is common in psychology, where individuals who feel out of control in their lives can struggle with anxiety and other emotional difficulties. The Hulk's desire for control can be seen as a way of coping with the uncertainty and chaos of life. Trauma is also a major aspect of the Hulk's character. In Hulk, Bruce Banner's traumatic childhood and experiences as a scientist are explored, with flashbacks to the abuse he suffered at the hands of his father. This is a common theme in psychology, where early childhood experiences or trauma can have a profound impact on an individual's personality. The Hulk's character can be seen as a manifestation of Bruce Banner's unresolved trauma. The Hulk's transformation can be interpreted as a dissociative experience, where Bruce Banner dissociates from his sense of self and becomes a separate identity. This is a common theme in psychology, where dissociative disorders can cause individuals to feel detached from their own thoughts, feelings, and identity. The Hulk's dissociation can be seen as a way of coping with emotional distress or trauma. The Hulk's character can also be seen as a regressed version of Bruce Banner, where he becomes more childlike and primal in his behavior. This is a common theme in psychology, where individuals who experience trauma or stress may regress to earlier developmental stages as a way of coping with their emotional distress. The Hulk's regression can be seen as a manifestation of his emotional turmoil and trauma. The Hulk's struggles with anger management are a recurring theme in the Marvel Cinematic Universe films, where the character often causes destruction and harm when he loses control. This can be interpreted as a representation of poor anger management, which is common in psychology, where individuals who struggle with anger may experience difficulties in their relationships and have trouble controlling their behavior. The Hulk's struggles with anger can be seen as a manifestation of his emotional turmoil and trauma. The Hulk's character is often portrayed as having a dual personality, with Bruce Banner and the Hulk representing separate identities. This can be interpreted as a manifestation of dissociative identity disorder, which is a rare psychological disorder where an individual's personality is fragmented into two or more distinct identities. While the portrayal of DID in the movies is not entirely accurate, the Hulk's dual personality can be seen as a representation of the human struggle to reconcile conflicting aspects of one's personality. Control issues are also a major aspect of the Hulk's character, where he struggles with a fear of losing control or being out of control. This can be seen as a representation of control issues, which are common in psychology, where individuals may struggle with a fear of losing control or feeling powerless. The Hulk's control issues can be seen as a way of coping with his emotional distress and trauma. The Hulk's poor impulse control is often portrayed as a source of conflict in the Marvel Cinematic Universe films, with the character acting impulsively and without considering the consequences of his actions. This can be interpreted as a representation of poor impulse control, which is common in psychology, where individuals may struggle with impulsivity and act without thinking. The Hulk's poor impulse control can be seen as a manifestation of his emotional turmoil and trauma. The Hulk's experiences of shame and guilt over his actions as the Hulk are explored in the Marvel Cinematic Universe films, with the character often feeling remorseful for the destruction he causes. This can be interpreted as a representation of shame and guilt related to repressed emotions or trauma, which are common themes in psychology. The Hulk's shame and guilt can be seen as a manifestation of his struggle to cope with his emotions and impulses. The Hulk's transformation can be interpreted as a coping mechanism for dealing with the stress, trauma, or other emotional difficulties he faces. This can be seen as a manifestation of maladaptive coping mechanisms, which are common in psychology, where individuals may use negative coping strategies to deal with emotional distress. The Hulk's transformation can be seen as a way of coping with his emotional turmoil and trauma. The Hulk's fear of abandonment is explored in the 2003 film Hulk, where Bruce Banner's character struggles to form connections with others due to his fear of rejection. This can be interpreted as a fear of abandonment, which is common in psychology, where individuals may struggle with a fear of losing the people they care about or experiencing feelings of isolation and loneliness. The Hulk's fear of abandonment can be seen as a manifestation of his emotional distress and trauma. The Hulk's physical body is portrayed as separate from his mind in the Marvel Cinematic Universe films, representing the concept of dualism. This can be interpreted as a representation of dualism, which is a common theme in philosophy and psychology, where dualism refers to the belief that the mind and body are separate entities. The Hulk's dualism can be seen as a manifestation of the human struggle to reconcile the mind and body, particularly in relation to emotional distress and trauma. The Hulk's struggles with feeling powerless and out of control are explored in the Marvel Cinematic Universe films, with the character often feeling overwhelmed by his emotions and physical strength. This can be interpreted as a representation of powerlessness, which is a common theme in psychology, where individuals may struggle with feelings of helplessness or lack of control in their lives. The Hulk's struggles with powerlessness can be seen as a manifestation of his emotional turmoil and trauma. In the 2017 film Thor: Ragnarok, the Hulk's character engages in self-sabotage, destroying his living quarters on the planet Sakaar as a way of coping with his emotional turmoil. This can be interpreted as a manifestation of self-sabotage, which is a common theme in psychology, where individuals may engage in behaviors that are harmful or counterproductive to their well-being. The Hulk's self-sabotage can be seen as a manifestation of his struggle to cope with his emotions and trauma. The Hulk's character is portrayed as splitting off from the other heroes and becoming a more primal and destructive force in the Avengers. This can be interpreted as a manifestation of splitting, which is a defense mechanism in psychology where individuals perceive others as either all good or all bad, and struggle to reconcile conflicting aspects of their personality. The Hulk's splitting can be seen as a manifestation of his struggle to reconcile his emotional turmoil and trauma. The Hulk's experiences of trauma are explored in the Marvel Cinematic Universe films, with the character exhibiting symptoms of PTSD such as flashbacks and hypervigilance. This can be interpreted as a representation of trauma-related disorders, which are common in psychology, where individuals may experience emotional and psychological distress after experiencing or witnessing a traumatic event. The Hulk's experiences of trauma can be seen as a manifestation of his emotional distress and struggle to cope with his traumatic experiences. The Hulk's struggles with his identity are explored in the Marvel Cinematic Universe films, with the character struggling to find his place in the world and to reconcile his dual personalities. This can be interpreted as a manifestation of an identity crisis, which is a common theme in psychology, where individuals may struggle with their sense of self or identity. The Hulk's struggles with identity can be seen as a manifestation of his emotional turmoil and trauma. In conclusion, the Hulk's character is a complex representation of various psychological themes, including emotional turmoil, trauma, coping mechanisms, and identity issues. By exploring these themes, we can gain a better understanding of the character and the psychological factors that contribute to his behavior. The portrayal of the Hulk's character in movies serves as a means of raising awareness and understanding of mental health and emotional well-being, and can help to shed light on the complex psychological issues that many individuals face in their lives. Thank you for watching Director's Choice, and we hope you enjoyed this discussion on the psychology of the Hulk's character.